There we go.
Hey, there we go.
We are live now.
Wow. Well, that's a false start penalty on Candido there.
Yes.
We did the
Yep.
whole 2-minute countdown and about 35 seconds of the show, and nobody was watching because we did
I
not pick
was.
the live. This is what happens. This is what happens when the most important member of our team is out.
Let me just say,
And
I think it was the most powerful 2 minutes we've ever done.
it's wild, and it's because, especially because our first 30 seconds was just dogging Sean for missing,
Yeah,
and the second time we're like, oh no, he's the most important person here. So
it's all good. It's all good. Well, welcome everybody to the Relo Show. We are live, episode 41. I am Candido Diaz. He is Mark Sullivan. We have no Sean Richard to actually hit the go live button when we are supposed to be going live, but that's okay.
that
We
is
are going to
okay.
hold down the fort today.
I'm
So,
glad you
Mark,
realized that, because we would have gone that whole 30 minutes
oh,
just
yeah.
talking to each other.
Oh, we definitely could have. I mean, we talked to each other anyways, so that
Yeah,
that could have been interesting. But
for sure.
whatever. So, Mark, we start with wins and losses. Let's review this week. So, how was your week?
Well, I will say, it started to pick up. Starting to pick up some applications. Starting to um, had two back-to-back weeks of above average application numbers, so that's really good. The losses is they're still just like the week before. They're not the best of applications right now. That's just part of it. Sometimes you get great applications, sometimes you get bad ones, and it all evens out. With the numbers game, if you're playing, if you have enough numbers, when you have the low numbers, that's when the bad applications start to really get to you, right? But I will say, let's stick with the win. We got some people applying, got some people asking. Bouncing off of last week, I've been having more conversations with people. Very specifically, I'm going to date the show. It's August of 2024, and we're anticipating sometime soon, hopefully, rates start to significantly come down. And I'm starting to have conversations with my clients about what is their number. What's their number that would get them to move, right? So I've got a lot of clients that are in 2.5% interest rates, 3% interest rates. And as I'm having these conversations, they're saying, Mark, we want to move. We don't really want to be here. This was supposed to be a 4-year deal, and now we're 4 years in, and we need to get to a different school zone. We need to do yada yada. We want a bigger backyard. Our neighbor is a real a-hole.
That's what your neighbor said
I
already.
just it's weird how I financed Candido's neighbor.
Yeah, right.
But the so anyway, like, we're having a conversation of, hey, all right, so if you sold your house now, boom, 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 let's do this, let's do that, and this is what your payment would be. And I'm still getting a lot of, oh no, we can't do that. Even after saying, hey, how about we pay off debt? How about we do this? There's a million ways in which you could structure a sell and buy, but you say, okay, so what is that number? What is the number that you wouldn't mind your payment going up to if you could get that yard, if you get the nicer neighbor, if you can get the school zone, whatever it is. We write that down. We figure out what your sales price and what we need to let the interest rates go down to, and we try to guess. And you tell them, hey, as rates go down, homes are going to appreciate, and this is not going to be an exact science, but at least I know your number, and I'm going to keep an eye on it. And whenever I have downtime, as rates start to decline, I can keep that in mind. I can stop them from shopping. I can stop them from inquiring. If you think you're getting close, just hit me up. I'll do the math for you. We'll get back. It's a great way to touch your clients, whether you're a real estate agent or a loan officer. I went way too long on that, but I just really think it's an important thing. But hey, last win is that me and Candido, we about 300 days ago started Spanish on Duolingo, and we
Started a journey.
we did start our journey de Espanol, and
See,
we both
it's muy
exceeded 300 days. 300 days of Duolingo, and honestly, I'm really getting in my groove. And you know, I don't know if I would have made it to 300 consecutive days if it wasn't for this group that we're in and sharing those things and all that stuff. And I know if you're a Duolingo user, you know that if you hit a bunch of consecutive days, you get some free ones in there. And I've definitely taken advantage of the free ones because every once in a while you just forget, or you can't get to it or whatever. But it's still, we're playing within the rules. We got 300 consecutive days, and we're both gonna blast that out on social media later. And um, but that's wins. I'm
yeah.
dragging you, Candido. So what you
Yeah,
got?
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was just the Mark Sullivan show. Thanks for welcoming me
Well,
back.
there's only two of us. There's only two of
Yeah.
us, so I feel like we have to like spend a little bit more time on each of the
No,
segments.
you know what's kind of cool is we're still streaming onto Sean's Facebook, and there's actually a couple people tuning in from his Facebook. So I'm hoping that we get just this massive audience on his Facebook while he's not a part of the show, so we can brag about it
If
afterwards.
you're watching this specifically on Sean Richards' Facebook, I would I need you to comment, send him a direct message, say something, and say this was the greatest. This is the best show the collective.
By far.
This is the best show the Reload show has ever done,
I mean,
and we loved it. Didn't miss Sean at all. Like that's
yes.
that's that's the comment. You can throw it in a DM if you don't want to make it public, whatever. But let's get some comments out there,
I'm
and
glad.
let's make him feel
Yeah,
special.
I'm glad we got that out there. So, my wins and losses of the week. It's been quite a week. I'll just say that. It never fails. It's the first week of school here. My wife is away for the week, so I am losing my mind. Thank goodness I have, the help of a big family to make sure everything stays and runs nice and smooth. But with that being said, as soon as that is going on, my applications and just general activity has been through the roof. It's been an absolutely bonkers last couple of days. And typically around when you go on vacation. I don't really take vacation. So it's whenever I have less help with the kids. That means I'm a lot busier. Applications start coming from nowhere, so it's always a lot of fun.
You
Yeah.
should train them to
So
be in LOA for you.
yeah, something like that. But with that being said, both girls got to school a-okay, and it ended up in the right places, so that's always a good thing.
That's good.
And then what I would say for my win for this week. Obviously, I do a lot of my own marketing, a lot of my own social media stuff. Um, I've had people reach out, and I think a lot of it has to do with staying top of mind, reminding people, "Hey, this is what I do," typically in a funny or sarcastic way. But I've had people within my sphere reach out via social media this last week, specifically last like 2 or 3 days, and I've gotten at least two applications from it. So,
Sweet.
it can be a lot of work for me. I have a lot of fun with it, so I don't necessarily look at it as much work. But yeah, man, it's been a pretty crazy week here. I know we in the Northeast kind of start much later than everywhere else in the country for school, but yes, that's where we're at. So yeah, so for this week's show, um we came up with a topic about eliminating redundancy and how to simplify your business and streamline results, which obviously is why Sean isn't on the show today. We just got rid of him.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going to bring new ideas, and if
Yeah,
you're not going to contribute, then it's time to cut it out of your business, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today.
yeah. Bye, Sean. So Mark, do you have any opening thoughts on kind of eliminating redundancy and how to make things run a little bit smoother?
Yeah, you know what I do. This is something that anybody that knows me and has known me for a long time is I am very guilty of shiny object syndrome, right? And everybody goes through different seasons in their career, right? And you get started and you're not ready to invest anything yet because you're not really making any money. Start making a little bit of money and you start buying, this thing, this thing, this thing to make your job a little bit easier, to give you some more knowledge, whatever it is that you're doing. Then it really takes off, and your business is flying. You're doing great, and a lot of us fall victim to this thing's pretty cool. If I could get if I just get an additional loan from this service, it's going to pay for itself, right? And that's okay if you have two or three things, right? But as I'm guilty of, I buy everything. If it seems cool, I'm buying it, and then I forget about it. I forget I'm even paying for it, and it sits there, and every month deduction, 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 and I haven't even opened it yet. And that is I would put myself up with the tippy top of people that do that. I'd put myself up against anybody of buying things and then not really using them to their full potential. So I, over the last year, have been cutting everything. If I can't point to a specific loan that was originated because of that tool, it's gone. Whenever something comes up for renewal, that's when I see it. I check my credit cards, and something's been paid. Boom! I've got 30 days to make that thing worth it, or else it gets cut. I set a timer. I set an alarm. I set it on my Outlook. I say, hey, you have 28 days to make this worth it, or else it's getting cut. And bam, 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 bam. Right? And I'm lucky enough to work for a company like I wouldn't say that they give us a lot of things for free, because nothing's really for free. We do have a tech package that we pay for, but so much comes in this tech package that I'm not like, it's just really like I get MBS Highway, I get Mortgage Coach,
Right. Yeah.
I get a whole bunch of things that I use every single day in my business. So I don't need this extra stuff, right? And I think everybody can, especially if you're let's say you're an independent broker, let's say you work for a small company that doesn't provide any marketing tools for you, you're paying for a lot of this stuff out of your pocket, right? And um, so many things in our industry are redundant, right? You have three tools, and two of those tools do two of the same things very, very well,
Yeah.
right? Well, do you need them, or do you need both of those? Sometimes, yes. I'd argue that you can't. I would argue that you need both MBS Highway and Mortgage Coach for different reasons, and all the tools that they have, right? But if you have Mortgage Coach and you have MBS Highway and you subscribe to Hammer,
Shout out to Hammer.
that's a lot. That's a lot of things that are becoming redundant, right? And so you just
Right.
have to make the decision for yourself. But I would recommend I would recommend cutting everything. This is what I've done. I've cut everything, and now I'm gonna just rebuy things that I think that I'm missing in my life.
So first of all, thank you for not cutting me out. I really
I would
appreciate
never
you.
cut you out, Candy.
Yes, no, I know.
I cannot quit you.
But I think we're coming to a really important time as to A, the time of the year, and B, I think if you're still in this business, obviously we did lose quite a bit of people, but if you're still a part of this business, right? I think we can all start to see finally the light at the end of the tunnel, right? We're trying to make it to that other side, and it's really important to sit down at some point and just kind of take a look at everything in your business. What are you paying for? What are some of the things that you can not only get rid of, but kind of consolidate? Just like you were saying, there's a lot of different things that we have access to, and God only knows. I subscribe to the same thing. We all suffer from shiny object syndrome. It's just I feel like it's something in our DNA in this industry. But as we're starting to be able to ramp up, like you, all of a sudden, you got a lot of tire kickers. Some people are, getting more applications and whatnot. You just kind of see that volume and can kind of feel the energy that, okay, while we may not be extremely busy right now, it's like I see it coming. Um, so it's an important time to take a look at all the technologies that we have, and not only eliminate, but really try and figure out how we can utilize it the best we can. So if you're using something like ChatGPT and you're just using the free version, well, something like that, it's important for you to probably test out the $20 a month and see how much more ChatGPT does for you when you pay $20 a month, right? So you kind of have to do a pros and cons like anything, but yeah, if you're not utilizing MBS Highway to its fullest potential, it hammers out there at 9:30 Eastern every weekday, giving you an update on the market. So, I think you have to kind of know where to look. I'd say lean on some of the people in our industry that have been doing this for a while, or even people that you look up to. It's always easier to collaborate with people within our industry, right? So I feel super lucky and blessed that I have Mark and Sean that I'm able to lean on. And if I ever say, hey, you know what, I haven't come across this before. What do you guys think? We do that with whatever technology that we're testing out all the time. And, we always welcome open and honest feedback because that's how we know whether something is good or not. I obviously trust you guys. So, I'm not just going to sit here and bang my head against the wall by myself. I'm going to lean on people that I know within the industry. And a last thing, a little trick that I believe Shane Kidwell actually had said this. Um, his credit card was about to expire, right? So he needed a new one. The date was about to expire. So basically, he let it expire on all his subscriptions, and basically, that was kind of a forced audit, if you will, of all the things that he was subscribing to on a monthly basis. And then, all right, well, you know what? I don't really use that. I don't really use that. Oh yes, definitely. I definitely use that. So I'm going to update the card on that website. It was a little trick, but it's always kind of stuck with me that, hey, you know what? That's not necessarily a bad thing. And like I said, this I think right now is a perfect time to kind of stop, take a pause, do an audit, and go from there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because honestly, this is a really big topic. It's really important because we want everybody to be in this for the long haul. And when business is lower, when business, that's when you feel it, right? Like when you're doing 10 loans a month, you're not going to feel that couple $100 a month, right? When you're doing 5 loans, even, a lot of places, 2 to 4 loans is going to pay enough of the bills. But whenever you start to get into that danger area, when you're only doing 1 to 2 or no loans in a month, you start to feel that pinch. And That's probably the number one reason why a lot of people are going to be getting out of the business is because they're not managing this stuff correctly.
Right.
And I mean, we're talking about now. I mean, in 2020, we had over 400,000 licensed loan officers in this country, and going into 2024, we are under 100,000. So the industry has been cut by a quarter. Now, a lot of those will come back whenever they sniff blood in the water and they're and they want to come back in or whatnot, or new people will come in.
Sure.
But this is a real opportunity for that whenever business comes back for those of us that have been in the business for a while. Just like there was a big reset with the housing crash. I wasn't part of the business back then, but a lot of people tell me how they experienced being more of a top dog once the business did start coming back, because they were competing against a lot of people, an industry that was just full of brand new people like me. So we want you to stick around. We want you to be here for the long haul. And the way to do that is to be lean in the lean times. And this is it's an important topic. It took me a long time. It took me a long time to learn that. I learned it the hard way, and I want you to not learn it the hard way. I held on to people for too long. I held on to shiny objects for too long. I did a lot of things for too long that would have saved me money in the long run had I
Right.
been able to cut those sooner.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest questions is, does this make my life easier? Does this make the process easier? Right now, you want to make everything easier, right?
Yeah, and
So,
can you do it? Can you just do it by yourself? Is it
yes,
something that's just saving you time? Because if you're used to doing 8 to 10 loans a month and you're only doing two, you have free time, right? You have time to do a lot of these things yourself instead of the time saving shiny objects. Now, if
right.
it's giving you information, that's a different thing. But can you do it yourself? I think is a really important question to ask yourself.
Oh, absolutely. And obviously, time is money. But at the same token, yeah, you want to be lean and mean and ready to roll, because like we were both alluding to at the beginning, it's starting to pick up, and people are asking a lot more questions. Just random people, just kind of whenever they see, oh yeah, I saw this on the news. So be prepared for that to only go up as we start to have more get-togethers and school activities and Labor Day cookouts and whatnot. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it on my end. Mark, do you have anything else that you wanted to wrap up with?
No, no, but I mean, heck, if you're listening to this, I don't care if you're listening to it now or you're listening to it, a couple weeks from now, or you're watching this on YouTube or whatnot, watching it inside the collective. If you have questions about this kind of stuff, let us know. Like, it's like Candido said earlier, I've got Candido and Sean to bounce things off of and say, hey, listen, I've got this, and this. Like, where can I cut here? Or hey, I've got this and this. Do you think I'm using this to the fullest potential? Do you think I'm getting the most out of this service? Or is it something that, might not be worth having? If you don't have somebody like that, if you don't have a forward thinker that can address that stuff with you, just reach out to one of us and start that conversation up, because we'd be happy to have it with you. It's important. I know there's so many people on an island these days where you don't really have somebody to bounce that off of, and that's what we're here for. So don't hesitate to reach out for sure.
Yeah, and forgive us for being a little bit vague. We don't want to necessarily start naming all these different products that you should be cutting and axing off. That's not the point of this. The point is that, like, yeah, you shouldn't have three CRMs. You should just have one that you're actually utilizing, right? So, obviously, please feel free to reach out. It's something that we love having these conversations and bouncing them off of each other, because it's really easy, and we all three of us really are interested in the same but different things. So it kind of makes it an interesting dynamic when we put our heads together. So, well, with that being said, this was definitely the best show that we've ever had
By
once
far.
we figured out to hit the go live button. You know, tune in each and every week, Tuesday, 12 Eastern, 11 Central. We are streaming all over the place, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Mark. Um,
And the two people that are on Sean's feed right now,
yes,
we need you to comment on there and say how much the show rocked in his
yes,
absence. I would appreciate it. I will give you. I will. Candido will send you a $10 Amazon gift card.
right.
Um,
I appreciate that. All
yeah,
right. Well,
no
thank you
problem.
everybody for tuning in. And till next week, hope you all have a fantastic Labor Day weekend. Bye
See ya.
now.